Hello everyone, JRDL96 here with a brand new reaction. As you can tell by the title, it's another Jacksepticeye video, and this one intrigued me. Now, we all know that Jacksepticeye was in a movie called Free Guy that starred Ryan Reynolds. And it's like this video game kind of film, like, some meta, video game simulation thing. And it involved a lot, like it had a lot of YouTubers and Twitch streamers cameoing in this film, and Jacksepticeye was one of them. And he had some moments in the film, and Ryan Reynolds apparently called Sean and asked him if he wanted to be a part of it, and stuff like that. So I guess this video is, like, I know for sure they probably weren't on set together, because obviously Sean filmed all his scenes from home and probably submitted it to Warner Brothers or 20th Century Studios now, or Disney, which is kind of ironic. But anyways, I might as well just get right into it and see like what he has to say about it. So without further ado, let's react to this video, shall we?
So I was in a little movie called
Free Guy. Yeah.
A lot of people come up to me these days and ask me, Jack, how did you become the A-lister actor celebrity that you are, being able to manage a YouTube channel as well as a top-tier acting career in Hollywood? How do you do it? And I just simply answer that I'm just a humble guy from Ireland who just tries his best every single day. So earlier this year, in case you haven't noticed, because I was screaming it from the rooftops when it happened, I was in a little movie called
Free Guy
with Ryan Reynolds and Jodie Comer, and it was directed by Sean Levy? I'm sorry, Sean, I don't know how to pronounce your name. You spelled Sean wrong, so... And I realized that I talked a lot about when the movie came out, and that I was in it, and that people should go see it, but I never really sat down and talked about how that actually happened, how I got into the movie, what it was like to do it, and what it was like kind of afterwards. So let me take you back to the dewy slopes of yesteryear, and the year before.
2019.
I can't remember what year we recorded this in. It was a long time ago. The movie was supposed to come out last year, and it only came out this year. We had something happen in the middle of all of that. I don't know what it was called, but it delayed everything. But I was sitting down, recording stuff that I normally do. Sitting here. Well, I was actually in my old house. Just
yes.
Sitting down, recording videos, classic Jacksepticeye.
Yeah.
And I got an email. I think my manager messaged me about it as well. And I got an email at the same time. And they were just like, hey, I'm Sean Levy, and I'm directing Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds. And my manager was like, yeah, they wanted you to read lines for this movie. And I'm like, what? I thought if I ever got to be in a movie for being a YouTuber, that it would be something awful. It would be something that no one would want to watch and that everyone would cringe at. And I would be sitting there being like, at least I got to be in it. But no, I had to start off my tremendous acting career by being in a big blockbuster Hollywood movie by Disney.
Or Fox.
Ryan Reynolds.
Technically 20th Century Fox.
Apparently they sat down and watched my videos and they went, this? Perfect. But I got really nervous, super scared. I thought that initially they gave me lines to read that I thought I was going to have to audition when I had this call with the director. And that didn't happen at all. But I was sitting there being like, okay, I know the lines, I practiced them. And I like had the script in front of me and I thought like, okay, they want to see how I can act. How I can really emote. Look at my range. I like really practice how to cry on command. Failed miserably. I couldn't do it. And then I got onto the call and they're like, yeah, we just want you to be yourself in the movie. And just do what you normally do. And I was like, oh, that's easy. I do that. I'm doing it now. The director was super nice. Sean is one of the most infectiously energetic people and charismatic, and he just sold me on the movie immediately. It could have been the most horrible thing in the world, and I would have been like, yeah, buddy. He made me so happy, and he was so enthusiastic about it and so passionate about it that it was kind of hard to say no to him, but it was a really big deal, and he was very nice to me. And I sat down with him and he asked me a few questions on like this scene about what we do on YouTube and what things are called. And I told him what a Let's Play was, and he wrote it down, and he was like, I never heard that term before. And I was like, yeah, that's what we do. It's technically called a Let's Play, that we sit down and let us play like together. And he asked me a few questions about how to make it like not cringy, and you could really tell that they wanted to make it
legit,
like, accurate to what we do
yes
normally. And
I think that's what I appreciate. Like,
to not.
They
be
really
aware
went
of
down
sin.
for with it
And this,
and really
I
went
think, was
for
really
it.
smart because they made a video game from scratch that didn't exist in the real world, even though it's heavily inspired by games in the real world. But the fact that it wasn't a real game, so they didn't have to cater to anybody for it, I think really benefited them. So fast forward a couple of months, the lines came in, he texted them to me. It was so fun because I got to do it with no supervision. Because I had to sit here and do what I normally do every day, I got to just sit in my room at the old place and just kind of go over the lines over and over and over again. I paced back and forth in my living room,
Oh,
looking
jeez.
at my phone and reading them out loud and then reading them, trying to read it. I read it out loud and then I would try to read it without my phone and then I would go back and like, okay, what did I miss? And then read it out loud and back and forth until I could get it.
That sounds like
in
me
my
when I
brain.
do the, any of my ego stuff.
That I had to read. And they told me that we'll swap between other people's perspective. Because it wasn't just me in the movie. It was Ninja, Pokimane, and Laserbeam in the movie. When we initially caught on, and then Dan TDM was added afterwards. And when we were reading it, I was like, okay, he'll just pick out whatever line I read here, and then others will read like the top line, I'll be in the middle, or someone else will be second and then fourth. Like they just swap it around and pick whatever. So I just read out the whole thing. And I was practicing it over and over again. I was getting so scared. And then I just sat down at my computer like this. I had OBS open in front of me, looking at myself, being like, okay, how do I look? How do I act? How do I act like Jacksepticeye? What does Jacksepticeye do? And it's not until somebody's like, just be yourself and act like yourself. It's like, what do I do? And I did lines over and over again. I think I did like 10 different takes of it over and over again. I did like line by line. So in case they wanted to like punch in or out of particular lines, I did the whole paragraph back to back. I did it a bunch of different ways, cam collected, looking at the camera, looking away from the camera. And I was like, okay, I think I did it. It's done. I sent the video off to Sean and he immediately got back and was like, this is marvelous. You're so good. And I was like, thank you, Sean. Thank you so much. I'm so scared. And he was super nice about it. He kept saying like, you're so good at acting. These lines are amazing. We're so happy with them. And I was like, you're just saying that because you want me to feel good about myself, but I do, and thank you. And then I released the Chase short.
Oh, yes.
That I was in LA for. And I was so nervous about that. And then after that went up, a couple of hours passed, and then Ryan Reynolds himself DM'd me on Twitter. I know. Mega flex. And he was beyond nice. He's one of the nicest people ever. And he was messaging me being like, saw the line, or saw like what you did, and it was incredible, great acting, you're so good at this. And I was like, you're just saying that. In my head, I was like, you're just texting everybody that. And they probably did. But it made me feel so good about what I had done.
Yes.
I was like, okay, they're happy with it. That's all that matters. I don't care if everybody else laughs at me. As long as they're happy with what I did, I know that I've done myself proud. And I was so excited about it. And then after that, I was riding high for ages. I was just like, yeah, nothing can touch me. I'm invincible, baby. And then a couple of months later, Sean had messaged me again. I was like, you were so good in it. We're actually going to give you more lines. So here's like 2 more paragraphs that you can say. Or like a paragraph and a half. And I was like, oh my God. Yes, thank you. I'm so excited. I would love to be in it more. Of course I would. And I did the same thing again. Went over the lines over and over again. This was like a longer section. I was like, okay, Sean, time to bust out the big guns. This is your acting prowess.
Oh my God.
Taking it so seriously.
So he was given more.
Oh, so scary. But I'm so glad that it went well. I'm glad that they were happy about it. I'm glad that when it went up, everyone, like there was a couple of people obviously that were going to be like, oh, it's cringe that these YouTubers are in it. That's just inevitable. That's just the way.
Well, it's bound to happen at some point.
In the online world.
Because everybody has their perception.
90% of the people out there were incredibly kind about it, incredibly nice, said that we did a great job. It was so exciting to see us in the movie. And I got to see the movie early.
Of course you did.
They sent me like a private screening.
You lucky bastards.
So that I could like see it for myself for the people who were like in the movie. And that was nice. But I was watching it on like a laptop and it had like Sean McLaughlin written all over the screen, so I couldn't record it and reproduce it because of copyright and all that.
Oh, of course. No shit.
I got to watch it early and I was like, oh, there I am.
Oh, look.
That was so awesome. That was amazing.
Oh, look, it's me.
And then I was like, okay, relax, watch the rest of the movie.
And then you pop up again. It's like, fuck off.
So cool. And I was like, oh.
And then you go back to normal. And then you come up again. It's like, oh. Like, up.
I was so happy with it.
He's just resting.
In pieces! That man is dead!
He's so sleepy.
I was so incredibly nervous after watching that. Me and Evelyn got to watch it together, and she said some very nice things. She
Of
had a
course
big
she
bag. She was very
did.
supportive. It was delightful. And
She's
then
very
afterwards I was like,
supportive.
oh my god, I can't wait for people to see it. The movie's actually just really fun, really good. And it's like one of the best video game movies I've ever seen.
Well, it's technically not, but in a sense.
I'll wait to see what other people think about it. And then the movie came out, and people loved it, and it got great reviews.
Critics liked it too. Decently well at the box office.
I went to see it with like Felix and Marty and PJ and Sophie and Evelyn. We got to go see it in the cinema.
Yay!
And I was so nervous the entire time because now I knew when my lines were coming up. I knew when it was about to happen. And I was sitting there in the cinema being like, okay, first like third or so of the movie I can relax and hang out. And then when it was about to happen, I was like, I kind of like sank down in my seat.
Like a turtle.
And I was waiting for it to happen, and then the lines came up, and I was like, oh god. And I was like looking around at everybody in the cinema, and I was like, this is so weird. I'm not normally in the movies. I don't know if you guys knew that. I'm not
Clearly not.
Ever. As the lines were being said, I was like, oh god, oh god. And then all my friends turned to me and they're like, wow, that was so cool. And I had a big sigh of relief, and I was like, guys, don't worry, I show up again. But man, what a cool experience. And then as the movie was coming out, they were like, oh, do you want to do like the press junket for it? And I was like, hell yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right, he did the press junk.
Like meeting Ryan for Deadpool, and meeting Tom Holland and them for Spider-Man, and The Rock and Kevin Hart for Jumanji. I was like, I'd love to interview people. Like, it's only over Zoom, but it would still be really fun to do. And then they're like, oh no, you're being interviewed because you're in the movie. I was like,
what?
That's so much easier. I don't have to come up with any questions. All I have to do is talk about myself and the movie. And that's easy.
Yeah.
Talk about myself all day. But I feel just so fortunate that that's even a thing that happens in my life. And then being able to be in the movie like that is one of the most remarkable things I've ever done in this career. And way, way, way beyond what I ever thought was possible. You know when people always ask that question, like, when you started YouTube, did you ever think you'd be here? It's like, obviously not. And I keep thinking about me in the cabin when I started off making YouTube videos as this like shy, timid little man of early 20s, and then seeing where it's come to now is just, it's mind-blowing. I need to remind myself of that more often. When you get like tied up in like the numbers of it all, and what am I doing, what do I play, and oh, this isn't doing well, and oh, am I becoming irrelevant, oh no. Like all of that stuff, it just means nothing. And
I feel the same way too. I don't really care. Like, I just do it.
I think that means so much more. It's one of those things. It's cool to be able to do it, and like, even for like my own selfish reasons, to just be able to do it and be in something like that, and kind of like, hey, I did it. But to share it with everybody that watches my content as well, who's seen me go from that guy in the cabin to then moving to Athlone, and then moving to Brighton in my other house, now being here and being on that journey the whole way.
Yes.
And then going to a movie and seeing me in it, and seeing people be like, man, I'm so proud of you, you've come so far. That meant a lot to me. I got off track. I meant to say, when I was tweeting about it, Ryan messaged back and tweeted that, oh, people are going to be so excited to see you as Qbert in the movie. And I remember, for the longest time, I was credited as Qbert on Google.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's changed.
Oh my god, yes.
Jacksepticeye as Qbert is still on Google if you search Free Guy Cast.
I'm surprised.
And what's really fun is that my name is spelled wrong in the movie. If you watch, I think it's the first scene where I show up, the URL at the top, because it's like my face. We can probably bring up an image of it, actually. It's my face and like the comments and the live stream and everything happening. But at the top in the URL, I think it says Jacksepticeye. And I think that that's delightful as well. People were like, oh no, that's so sad. I'm like, that's amazing.
That shit happens. Mistakes happen in movies all the time. People always make videos pointing them out.
There was something about it that they're like, oh, your hair was different when you did this. So if you could get your hair to match that again. I'm like, luckily I didn't shave my beard or like cut my hair too short and have to wait for it to grow out. But anyway, that was it. I just wanted to talk about it because I never have, and people ask me a lot of questions all the time, like, did you get to improv, or did you have any lines that you had to say? Like, yes, I did. I had to say lines. I got to improv a little bit about it, and some of those made it in. But it was just to kind of like make the lines in my own voice. But one of the most cool experiences that I've ever gotten to do as part of this career, and if I never got to do anything like that again, I'm so glad that I did get to do it. This sounds like the most cliche YouTuber video ever, but I actually mean it. I'm not just saying phony words to blow smoke up your asses, but I really am appreciative of it.
Of course.
Everybody,
proud of you.
who asked me to be in Free Guy, and the fact that I got to do that, so cool. I hope I get to do something like that again.
Yeah, it'll be
But I'm
nice.
just
It'll be
grateful that it
awesome.
happened at all.
Interesting. Very interesting. So I was kind of right on like a few things. Like, he number one, like he got contacted by, I didn't know that he got contacted by the director himself. The director of this film, and Sean, Jacksepticeye kind of filled in with the director. Some of the terms and words and some of the slang that YouTubers use, like gamers use, let's play and other stuff, and trying to be more accurate representation of what YouTube on with gaming is. And I thought that was really really awesome that they did that, because usually a lot of people have these this perception about YouTubers, and that they're all loud and annoying and stupid and stuff like that. But like, this shows you how much the director cared about making sure that these YouTubers and streamers are all represented in the correct way, and not in this shitty way. And that is really nice that they did that. But I did not know that initially, like, he had like maybe few lines, but then after showing off, after he initially submitted his initial lines, like the timeline of events is interesting, because he mentions the moment when he gets contacted about it, then he does the lines, then he submits it, gets the praise for it, then he mentions about what I mentioned earlier about when Sean put out the chase video, and Ryan Reynolds DM'd him afterwards saying that he thought that the video was phenomenal, incredible actor, etc. And I don't know if that video had any effect on what would follow afterward, where the director asked him to do more lines for the film, but that would not surprise me. But then again, yeah, the video itself is phenomenal. Like, the chase video overall is like, the cinematography is what is good about it. And the fact that Sean Jacksepticeye was acting as a character, one of his alter egos, Chase Brody, and he's supposed to act, sad, depressed, like, on the verge of losing it, like, and having him, looking like that, it's just, the way he, did it was phenomenal, and I thought it was really good. But, I think, I would have had the same feeling too if I were in his shoes and I was doing all this stuff, and then when I go to see it in theaters with a general audience, except for like the handful of people that would know who I am, and waiting for how they react, to the lines in the movie. Because when you see it, you go, like, when you see it by yourself, you're like, hey, there's me. But then, but it's the reaction could be different when you're in front of an audience. He didn't necessarily go into detail about that, but he only mentioned like his friends saying, oh, that's pretty cool that you're in there. But I wondered, like, did anybody, like, go, oh, Jacksepticeye, or, laughed at some of the things he said in the movie, or whatever. But yeah, I still got to see the film. I only saw bits and pieces of the movie. I saw one of the the funny Chris Evans cameo in that movie, which is hilarious, and I thought that was so fucking hilarious, because it's like Deadpool coming out in that one moment, grabbing Captain America's shield, and then Chris Evans looking at it like, what the shit? I thought that was fucking great. Technically, this was a 20th Century Fox movie, but during this period of time when this movie was being filmed, the acquisition that Disney made by acquiring Fox was still going on, and it didn't become official until like around that early 2019. Like, it was still being going through the courts and everything to be approved. and shit, so it took a while. So it was kind of funny to see that. But yeah, I'm really proud of Sean and seeing how far he's come from, you know, that guy in a cabin in the middle of nowhere in Ireland to where he is now. It's really sweet to see. So overall, that was really it on this reaction. But yeah, like some of the things he mentioned about when he's had to look over the lines, he had to like keep reading him, like looking at his phone, and trying to say it without looking at the phone. Like I can relate to that, especially with, you know, when it comes to my alter ego videos, like J or Die or Wikipedia or Xander or Dr. Spindler and stuff. I would have to constantly look at my phone just when I type down my script and, you know, the dialogue for those videos. It's a pain in the ass to coming up with this shit, but it's still also a pain in the ass to remember some of it. But because sometimes I try to I would reread it over and over again and redo the lines just to fit to what I feel is the good take. Like I try to do that more now and stuff like that, you know, because again, you want to be perfect. Like the one video, I don't know what it is, which one video, like I don't know if this is like relatable, but I'm not trying to flex or anything or anything like that, but like my family doesn't necessarily watch my videos as much. Like it's which is understandable because again, like I don't blame them, but like, you know, they will occasionally watch, some of the ego videos or skits that I do. It wasn't until that 10 years video that I did that a lot of people in my family were like commenting on and thought, like my aunt thought it was hilarious. One of my mom's coworkers like didn't know like asked my mom, "That your son?" How is he not this social outside of that video? Like he's like mute in public. I just have this, you know, anxiety. I'm not like, you know, that talkative in public. That's just me, but that video alone was like one of the videos that really got a lot of people talking in my family, and they thought that video was great. Like it, like, you know, that just, I don't know if that's like relatable or anything, but I'm trying to relate, if you understand what I mean. But overall, that video was really nice. Really nice. Yeah, that makes sense. No, not really. Overall, this video was really nice and, you know, wholesome to see because, you know, like, you know, this all started from that Ryan Reynolds video that he and Ryan did together, you know, playing the Deadpool video game, and then it, you know, snowballed into, you know, where he ends up in a movie that happens to star Ryan Reynolds. Didn't they greenlight a sequel for this film yet? It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't really surprise me if they do a sequel to this movie. And what they should do is maybe include some more, you know, content creators, like maybe like, you know, Markiplier or PewDiePie. Like get the other bigger YouTubers involved, like, and, you know, streamers involved. You know what I mean? Like that would really be perfect for the film. You have those handful like DTM, Pokimane, Ninja, and Laserbeam, and, you know, Jacksepticeye. But get some of the other, you know, content creators involved, gamers involved. You know what I mean? Like Crank Gameplays would be nice to see. I'm pretty sure Markiplier for sure. Markiplier is already busy as it is when it comes to, you know, stuff like that. But Mark's already got his, you know, Edge of Sleep TV series coming out at some point. He's got In Space with Markiplier. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up, you know, maybe the Edge of Sleep would probably end up having an effect like where Hollywood starts calling him for, you know, roles or cameos or whatever. I have no clue, but a man can dream, right? Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe, share this video with your friends. Be sure to ring that bell to be part of the notification squad. Be sure to check out my Instagram because I make collabs with Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, myself. I also do an actors and cosplays on there, so go check it out. And be sure to check out my Tumblr and my Discord in the description as well. So until next time, JRDeal96 signing out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!